Hello, my curious souls. Welcome in or welcome back to Wandering Soul Tarot, where we harness our magic through tarot and oracle cards for spiritual growth and self-discovery. I hope you are all doing well out there. My name is Amanda, and today we have a general timeless tarot reading all about a painful ending that you have experienced or are currently moving through in your life. Now, this was a card that was selected by the tarot itself as I shuffled and asked Spirit what topic they would like to speak about today. And the Ten of Swords was a card that flew out of the deck. So I feel like there's going to be some healing messages for those moving through darker moments in life. And I feel there's also going to be messages of hope, action, and inspiration. So we have 3 soul paths for you to choose from today, but before we get into the readings, I'm going to start with a collective channeled message. You're welcome to start there or get right into your reading. All of the timestamps for everything will be in the description box below. Remember that these messages may not resonate with everyone and should act as confirmation for you. So if you're not connecting with the messages or are feeling resistant to them in any way, then please leave it for who it is meant for. And if they are resonating and you'd like to dive deeper, I am available for personal readings. The link to book that is in the description box. So if you're ready to get into your reading now, the timestamps are in that description box. However, if you'd like me to introduce you to the soul paths, let me do that now. So for Soul Path 1, we have the Ten of Swords from the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot with the Hematite Stone. For Soul Path 2, we have the Ten of Swords from the Everyday Witch Tarot with the Lapis Lazuli. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Ten of Swords from the Magical Creatures Tarot and the Dragon Stone. Or Dragon Bloodstone? I can't exactly remember. So when you are ready and feel called, use your intuition to choose the soul path that is calling to you the most. And click on the timestamp in the description box to skip to your reading. And we will see you over there. Hello everyone, welcome to the channeled portion of today's reading, where we are going to discuss a painful ending you've experienced in your life to try to heal and transmute that pain for something beneficial and for your highest good. But before we get into the cards, I do have a channeled message that I would like to share. Recovery depends on our ability to transmute the pain into something useful. Action, change in behavior or thought, healing, something that benefits you for your highest good. This requires a letting go of old beliefs, thoughts, perceptions, and rewrite the script. Allow others to assist you in this. Be open to receive, and if this is difficult, that might be a good place to start, releasing the blocks to receiving. Also releasing blame or trying to completely understand why it happened, why now, why me. Maybe it wasn't you at all, but the choices of others, or simply poor luck. And in other situations, maybe we allowed too much, we gave too much, we didn't value ourselves enough, we didn't know better, and that's okay. It's valuable to look at that where appropriate, to ensure that we are living our lives and making decisions from an empowered and knowing place. Either way, it's important to let go, to find healing and strength, and not internalize a situation or a person that we have no control over. So what will be done from here moving forward? That is up to us. It's all up from here. Don't let this break you or put your guards up too high, but instead let it make you better. Let it heal you. So, with that, let's get into the cards. Spirit, could we get a card? Thank you. Take the lead. Yes, this is really a powerful card. This is coming up from the darkness and taking the lead of what's next. You are the leader of that path. You are the leader of the choices that you're making in this moment moving forward. Rather than having something push you along, something else guide you, tell you what's right, this is your opportunity to take the lead and use your wisdom that you have earned, gained, understood from this particular experience, or maybe in many experiences, cumulative experiences that you have had that may not all be painful, but this particular one stands out for a reason. And I feel that this is your moment to part the mountains so that your way forward is much easier. It's almost as if this moment in time is helping you to overcome new obstacles in the future, but not just that, to overcome them with more ease. So rather than seeing the mountain and overcoming it with a lot of blood, sweat, tears, energy, I feel like the next challenges up and coming, because you've experienced this, will be a little bit easier for you. You'll see the mountain, but it'll take far less time for you to overcome it, far less time for you to climb it and reach the peak. You'll have far less resistance because you are skilled, you are more skilled, you are more knowing, you have more tools in your tool belt to be able to climb this with a little more ease. I'm also getting that you're simplifying something. You're paring back something. You're being more focused with something moving forward. So what you're doing doesn't feel too big or unattainable, but it's just enough that you can overcome it and feel accomplished and see success. Rather than setting the bar so high, expectations are coming through right now, where maybe you have had high expectations of yourself in the past. I want to get one more card. Protection. So, yeah, I almost feel that you are understanding or learning how to protect yourself moving forward. So it's almost like there is or was someone that you gave too much to, possibly too soon, and they took advantage of you. So there is a protective layer that is being built or constructed. And this isn't guards that you're putting up and that you will never bring down or that you will never be able to see through. This is an invisible guard. So it's almost like you are understanding how to have healthier boundaries. And that is part of taking that lead as well. To understand how to protect your energy, how to protect your strength, how to protect your values and beliefs, the things that you hold dear. And what are those rules of engagement? What are those terms and conditions, those policies? So I feel that is part of this story here of your Ten of Swords, the painful ending, is that you had to experience it in order to strengthen your boundaries, in order for you to step into your power, understand your power and your resilience, understand that you can do hard things, and that it only makes you stronger to move forward into a higher timeline. I'm seeing a spiral moving up. So you're no longer in a cycle, you are spiraling up. And bottom of the deck, we have forgiveness. I feel like this is forgiveness for self and a wholeness that is happening because of this process. It's like you are rising again. You are rising from the darkness, rising from the pain, seeing more beautiful skies, more color of life, endless possibilities. And this forgiveness, this self-forgiveness of maybe not doing things fast enough or not seeing the signs. This is a release of all blame of self, all shoulds, woulds, coulds, because what is done now. And it's time for you to move along, to forgive yourself, to know better and do better. And now that you do know better, you can do better. So I think I'm going to leave it here for the channeled message, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, Soul Path 1. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Ten of Swords from the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. Before we get into the reading, oh, also you chose the Hematite Stone, which is a stone of protection, stability, grounding, connected to the root chakra. It transmutes negative energy into something positive and beneficial. Not that we want to bypass any of our feelings, but this is being able to take that, to heal from it, to take the bits that are important and that are valuable to you from this experience, and to turn it into something that you can use to your benefit for positive movement forward. So before we get into the tarot, I do want to pull an energy card for you. And protection was one of the messages that came out in the channeled message. If you didn't happen to see that, you can click on the timestamp in the reading for that whenever you'd like. So Soul Path 1, your energy for Soul Path 1. Aha! This was also part of the message that came out in the collective reading or the channeled message, is taking the lead and standing your ground. So coming into an energy of empowerment, an energy of feeling strong and confident. You may not, depending on where you are in your journey, you may not feel this at the moment, but I feel this is what you're stepping towards and something that maybe you desire deep down. Bottom of the deck, there is a new beginning here. So I do feel like there is something new that you're stepping into. You're stepping into a new doorway. You're expanding your possibilities in life, and you are no longer containing yourself to a specific area, to a specific mindset, to certain options. I feel a very exploratory energy, a very curious energy, and an energy of screw it, let's do this, let's figure this out, and let's go forward and see what else we can uncover and explore and discover and experience. So there's a bit of a free spirit coming through, but a free spirit that is not afraid to stand up for themselves, that is not afraid to step into their power, is not afraid to push back and to really fight for the things that they want in their life, especially when it comes to the things that they are passionate about or they desire greatly. And I feel like this is the energy that you are currently embodying or you are stepping into because of this Ten of Swords energy. Yeah, I feel like this moment is, or this Ten of Swords is not something that has really broken you. It has, yeah, the channeled message is coming through of you're now understanding your limitations, your boundaries, the restrictions that you've maybe put on yourself unknowingly, and you're kind of breaking free through that to be able to open yourself up. So while the guards might be up, in a sense where you've got those boundaries in place, you're still allowing things to penetrate that, but it has to be the right things, the right experiences, the right people, and the right time. So I feel your rules of engagement have changed, and you're following these new rules that you've set for yourself, which is that protection and standing up for that. Okay, so let's look into what led to this Ten of Swords. All right, so Ace of Wands in reverse. I get a feeling that I'm getting a real lost feeling with this. Like you didn't know that an opportunity was available to you, or that you couldn't chase your dreams, goals, wishes, desires. Maybe there was an opportunity that you turned down because you didn't have or didn't feel like you had what it takes to nurture something, to complete something. Maybe you were worried that you would drop off midway, or maybe there was a lack of motivation to fight back, to really grow something with this. There's also some scattered energy. So yeah, whether you were lost or lost your way or lost your direction, lost your motivation or your will to do something, I almost feel like you let something overcome you. Like you had some ideas about what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go, but then something distracted you, took you off course, and you lost your way a little. You lost your spark for life, your inspirations. And it kind of led you down a path that was not empowering, was not inspiring, did not make you feel creative or energetic. Okay. I'm curious to know more about this Ace of Wands. Do we continue on? No, I want to get clarifier on this Ace of Wands. What is this Ace of Wands? Okay, so Six of Swords. Yeah, you moved off a path. You moved away from a path. You didn't trust yourself. So you changed directions. Maybe there was a fear of following this inspiration or this creativity. I still want to know more. I want to know more about what is the Six of Swords now? Connected to the Ace of Wands. I want one more card. Okay. So we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. You might have been restricted. Maybe you physically had to move, which prevented you from taking somebody up on an opportunity or following a passion or a pursuit that you so greatly desired, because I feel like you were in either a lack mindset or in the midst of a mindset shift and significant changes were happening in your life, and you couldn't possibly fathom how you could make this happen. Maybe you wanted to start a business. You had an idea for something. You had an inspiration for something, but you weren't in a secure place. Whether that is in a physical aspect, a financial aspect, or within the mind. You could have been in a very tense situation that you wanted to leave but maybe couldn't. And you felt very isolated in this experience. So it's almost like you didn't have support to not only get yourself out of this situation, but you couldn't possibly think about new opportunities, following your inspirations in your heart, and putting your energy towards something exciting and fresh. Because you were trying to find your stability, you were trying to find your security. And this could have been circumstantial. I'm getting a lot of circumstantial kind of experiences or situations from this. So I feel what led up to this wasn't based on choice, wasn't based on something that you just followed blindly. I feel like you tried to move yourself out of this, but you ended up in a place that was still not ideal. Okay. So how to overcome, or what lessons can we glean from this? How can Soul Path 1 overcome this? Or maybe how did they overcome this? depending on where you are in this Ten of Swords energy. How to overcome this Ten of Swords. Okay. And we will get clarifiers. We have the Hanged Man. What is this Hanged Man? What is this Hanged Man? Okay. So definitely finding people that will assist you is important here. And you may have tried to find people to assist you here, but maybe where you were looking was not the right place. So I almost wonder if there's a different place for you to look and a different way in which you go about finding that assistance. Because I do feel teamwork and collaboration is going to help you overcome this. Now, this could be employee benefits as an example. This could be, I feel like it's going to be in a place that you wouldn't have expected, that you haven't yet looked, rather than something that is obvious. I don't feel like how to overcome this is going to be obvious. So you may experience some level of delays while you find some assistance, but don't give up is the message that I'm getting right now. And there's a level of surrender that I feel is required at this time. To surrender to what was and what never is going to be at this moment in time. And an acceptance of where you are at now, because I feel that acceptance of where you're at now and what it is you need to do to move yourself away and out of this Ten of Swords energy, I feel is going to be really important. And I almost get a sense that this enlightenment is going to unlock something for you. This letting go and going with the flow. Not being too impatient to find answers, to make things better, but to really tap into how you're feeling in this moment, what resources are available to you at this moment, what practices can you implement that will offer you a sense of healing or discovery or comfort. Who are those people that you can rely on possibly to maybe guide you? I feel like you're in a strong position to understand something here. Understand something on a deeper level. Understand something about yourself on a deeper level, more specifically. And I think this is going to be revealed, this strength. So let's look at what's next. What's next? Okay, so you will find your balance again with the Two of Pentacles here. And it's about turning away from the chaos, turning away from the destruction, turning away from, and that's not to say ignore it, but to not engage with it as best as you can, and to focus on what it is that you are, focus on what it is that you can control. Focus on what's ahead, where you want to go. So the Two of Pentacles. I do see a sense of balance, but we've got the Seven of Swords here and the Five of Cups in the reverse. So it's processing your emotions, is part of it, stepping into your truth, and releasing the guilt and shame that could possibly be lingering at this time. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Cups in reverse, which speaks to, when it's in the upright, it speaks to an emotional quest, an understanding of the emotions that need to be left behind, that are no longer serving us. This is leaving something and being okay with it not being 100% complete. Allowing it to be as it is. And so, because it's in the reverse position, I almost wonder if you are looking for closure. Maybe emotional closure on this. But I'm not sure that you will get it. So is it worth continuing to engage with it and staying in an emotional cycle that may never change? So using your logical mind, your intelligence, your wit, to craft a strategy to moving on from this. I do feel like healing something here is going to be a part of this, or at least processing some kind of emotions. Coming to terms with those emotions is going to be important. Not integrating this into your future as best you can. And standing in your power, knowing that this is coming to an end, I feel for a reason. And I feel it is for your greatest empowerment. For you to gain a higher perspective or a deeper understanding of who you are. For you to come into a better balance of things. And for you to not deceive your truth, your own truth. But to step into that a little bit more and to stand up for it a little bit more. But there's some grief that needs to be processed first. And maybe there has been deception by somebody. And so if there has, then at all costs to protect yourself from that energy of those who choose to manipulate and abuse you and make you feel shameful and guilty for standing up for who you are and what you want. Keeping you in this emotional cycle. Having you not chase your dreams. And keeping you in a lack mindset. I feel it might be a little tricky to navigate this situation. So I feel that's why this is such a strong energy. The Three of Pentacles is such a strong energy coming through as how to overcome, is that you can't do this alone. And you may have done this alone for a very long time. So that is maybe your expectation. But again, I feel like you haven't looked under all of the rocks, in all of the holes, in the cracks. So I feel like there's a deeper exploration that you could do in maybe some unusual places where you can find that support and assistance with the right people. I do get a sense that you're simplifying something though. As mentioned in the collective reading, I did get a sense that there's certain people in the collective that are paring back or simplifying or coming down to a singular focus or a more refined focus. And I see that here with the Pentacle energy. You go from the 5 to the 3 to the 2. So it's almost like you're learning how to do things on your own and to do it really well, rather than maybe trying to take on all of the burdens and responsibilities of others, and learning how to put up that protection, to have a bit of a shift in the way you perceive something, the way you believe something, the way you take action on something, so that you can come back into a little bit more better balance and move away from the chaos, to know what things to engage in and what not to engage in. And when you do come across people in situations that try to unground you, you are more aware of that, so you can put up those boundaries, that protection a little bit more. But it's okay to let something go that's not working. It doesn't have to come to a full completion. But I feel like this has maybe been a cycle for some time, and maybe this is a cycle that you're finally breaking. So that's an important consideration as well, is what cycles are you breaking by doing something different and transmuting that energy from lack and moving away from something that is tense, not secure, not stable, into something that is self-sustained and a little more empowered, a little more in control, within your control. Let's get a final couple of cards to end your reading for Soul Path 1. It's all about you taking the lead, and I almost wonder if you feared that before. It's maybe you were looking to others to tell you when it was okay and give you permission or kind of the opening, the opportunity to follow something. But really, I feel like that is a perception that needs to shift, is that you have the power to take the lead, to take this torch and run with it, to nurture it. So we have surrendering to the journey, release control. This is exactly the Hanged Man energy here, of releasing control of the external and even of what's happening through this processing of this ending. It's not easy, and releasing control and expectations of yourself and what you think things should be might be quite challenging, but allow yourself to be surprised. Allow yourself to be excited about what's next, because I feel that it's more empowering. I feel like you're going to be following your light a little bit more. I also feel that you're going to be connecting in with and trusting your intuitive hunches more and more. The more you do that, the more it will happen. And you are kind of steering your own ship here. Even though this woman doesn't have an oar, she's following the light, she's going with the flow, and eventually will find herself in a new land where she can step off the boat and look around and explore. But until that time, there's a surrendering to that process that has to happen, and not trying to control it too much. Only control what is within sight and what is kind of doable for you at this time. Look at that. This is great. Great energy to end your reading, Soul Path 1. Overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. This is a huge obstacle that I feel was blocking your pathway forward. And I feel you've just completely, you're blowing this out of the water with this Seven of Wands energy. You're standing up for it, you're not having it anymore, and you're coming back into your own sense of control, your own sense of faith and trust in yourself, your own sense of where you want to go and how you want to feel and what it is that you need to feel protected and guided and grounded on this journey. So you're really using that wit, that idea, or those inspirations. Use that as your weapon to bust through this obstacle, and you can overcome anything. I feel that that's the big message here, is that you are stronger than you think, and you can do this, Soul Path 1. So my dear Soul Path 1, this is what I have for you. If you'd like to dive deeper with a personal reading, the link to book 1 is in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Lapis Lazuli with the Everyday Witch Tarot, the Ten of Swords from the Everyday Witch Tarot. And before we get into the tarot, I'm going to pull an energy card just to get a sense for where you're at. And if you missed the channeled message, it might be valuable to you to check that out, because it may offer you a little bit more insight into what you might be moving through at this time. So, Soul Path 2, current energy. And this Ten of Swords could be something that you've experienced recently, are currently moving through, or something from the past that is still kind of clinging on to you at this time. So, oh, wow. Okay, so we have the Intuition card, which flipped out, and the Crown Chakra, which is connection to spirit, connection to higher realms, the divine, your higher self, your truth. So I almost wonder if this is what your kind of I don't want to say the purpose, but what you might uncover or discover in this painful ending is that it's helping you learn to tap into your intuition, to listen to it a bit more. You might have had some intuitive nudges that something wasn't working, but you kind of followed it just to see what happened, and it didn't end up in a great place. But I feel you might even be getting downloads or dreams or something about the situation, or you had downloads and dreams about the situation, but maybe you didn't trust it or you didn't listen to it. Maybe you passed it off as just your imagination. So I almost wonder if it is connecting you more strongly to your intuition. And this is maybe a reminder to listen to that a little bit more. Now, crown chakra. I'm getting headaches. Some people in the collective here may have experienced some headaches, which may indicate that the crown chakra is blocked. What else? There's some anxiety or some mental loops that I'm seeing in my mind's eye of things kind of churning around, almost like a tornado in your mind that you aren't able to release. So this could be something that has kind of gone in loop in your mind. There's rumination energy happening here, possibly up late at night, not able to settle the mind. Yeah, maybe somebody got away with something and you're trying to justify or understand it. There's protection here with the crow feather. But what's funny is I'm getting a lot of resilience from the Ten of Swords, because even though they've got 10 swords in their back, they're reaching for something. And they have animal helpers on either side. They're one above and one to their right. So you're being guided, you're being protected. You are pushing through this. I feel even though you've been hurt, I feel like this isn't keeping you down. So let's look at what this Ten of Swords is all about. What is this Ten of Swords? This painful ending. Something, okay. I think this was in reverse, but I want to get one more. What is this Ten of Swords? And Nine of Cups. My instinct is that this was in reverse. Forgive me if it wasn't, but I feel it was over here in the reverse position. I'll be curious to see. Okay, Five of Cups. All right. So we have Nine of Cups in reverse. We have the Four of Swords and the Five of Cups in reverse as kind of a look-see into this Ten of Swords here. Something wasn't fulfilling you. I think you went through a lot of grief and a lot of struggle. I feel like this was an emotional connection, or your emotional connection to something that you weren't really quite happy with. I felt this could be a connection with a partner that you may have broken away from, broke up with. Now, I feel you spent a lot of time recovering from this painful ending, to process this grief, to understand what it was or what will fulfill you. I feel you invested a lot of your emotional energy in this, but I almost wonder if the foundations of this particular connection may not have been as strong as they could have been. I definitely feel like it really impacted your health as well, being in this connection, being in something that was unfulfilling, and possibly quite sorrowful. I feel a lot of sadness with this connection. Maybe you desired a deeper connection with this person, and you worked really hard, but you felt alone a lot of the times. I'm almost wondering too, I'm getting somebody forgot your birthday, or they didn't show up at your birthday party. But in spite of it all, I feel like you were really able to show up for yourself. Maybe even saw the positive side of things. Let's look at how to overcome this. I do feel like you're quite independent and strong, though. That's not, I mean, if that helps at all. So we have the Empress in reverse. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel timing is going to be a big part of this. Kind of time heals all wounds, and to continue to nurture yourself. And nurturing yourself doesn't necessarily mean take a bubble bath. It can be to look into those needs that weren't met. Look into the emotional lack. For some reason, disparity is coming through. And I think that's a pretty big word. It's not a word that I usually use. But I feel like that self-care is not just recovery. And it's not just, caring for the physical body. It's also caring for the emotional body, the mental body. Trying to understand how we can offer that to ourselves on all levels. And the Empress is abundance. So I feel you're at this moment where you're not feeling very abundant. You're not feeling very full. You're feeling like something is missing, like you cannot see expansion in your life. Because something, I feel, has fallen away. Clearly, with the Ten of Swords, we are talking about a painful ending here. So there is definitely a significant feeling of lack here, but in order to overcome that, we have to not only process the emotional grief that comes along with that, not only that thing not being in our life anymore, but what we didn't get while we were in that situation. Looking at that to understand that a little bit better. Understanding how we see abundance, how we feel abundant. What does that look like for us? And to understand that we have to remain flexible in this process because we're in a moment of change. We are in a moment of growth, even though it may not look like it in a physical aspect where we are expanding our family or we are expanding our business or our finances. We may not be able to see it at this moment. I feel this is internal growth that's happening. And in order for us to have that internal growth, we have to look at the things that have disappointed us, the failures that we've experienced, whether it was done by somebody or we have experienced failure based on our own choices. There's no judgment, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's completely okay. That is how we learn and understand what to do better next time or where to make improvements or adjustments. And I kind of feel that's where you're at because you're waiting for things to change. You're waiting for things to turn. And this too shall pass. So I feel like this was pretty big energy that was, I don't want to say fated or destined, but I feel it's a lesson that you were meant to learn. Is to really understand how you feel fulfilled and even how you do that for yourself. Maybe not relying on external situations, circumstances, people. But how can you find that within? What are the practices? What are the explorations, the internal explorations? What is your intuition telling you? How can you take that lead to find that internal emotional fulfillment within yourself and within your life? So, okay, let's see what's next. After this Ten of Swords, what's next? Oh, yes, okay. You're a little bit at the whims of the universe at this time, but I feel it's important work that you're doing. So Page of Pentacles in the upright and clarified by the Six of Wands in the reverse. So first of all, I'm getting the feeling that you have to rely on yourself for a little bit at least, that you're not going to see success or results right away with whatever it is that's next. This is going to be an adventure. This is going to be something that you have to learn to lean into. And you'll have to be a little bit curious about it. Now, I feel that this could be a physical adventure where you need to travel somewhere, move, whether for the short term or the long term, to explore different avenues, explore different landscapes. It could be looking at the things that you value and making slight shifts there as well to bring in a little more of that fulfillment in the physical aspect and not just an emotional one. I feel like this is an expansion of abundance in different areas of your life. So I almost feel like a more well-rounded, you're stepping into something that is a little more well-rounded. And I feel like it's going to be aligned with your heart, your sense of place, your fortune, your health, the things that you want to follow and chase, your dreams, your personality and your expression, the things you commit yourself to, what you learn and how you learn about that. I just get a sense that there's going to be so much more depth, so much more abundance. I feel like this is multi-dimensional abundance. And you are going to start a new journey to explore that. So the things that you follow have to feel good to you, have to be intuitively aligned, have to offer you some sense of emotional fulfillment, maybe physical fulfillment, mental and spiritual fulfillment. We're talking all aspects here. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Judgment card in reverse. I feel like you may have ignored this calling, maybe for a time. And this is your wake-up call to say, your opportunity is here to finally get the fulfillment and abundance you so desire, but the path to getting there looks a little different than you expect. And this is a second chance. I almost wonder if you feel like you weren't going to get another chance to do something or try something or explore something. I feel like this Ten of Swords is opening the door to a new opportunity, but you have to hear the call. You have to be willing to let some things go in order to really explore something new and step into a higher calling, maybe even your purpose. The Judgment is also Phoenix from the ashes when it's in the upright. But there's almost a resistance to that in the reverse, because being birthed from fire is really, I can imagine it would be very painful. But through that pain, you are experiencing a rebirth. So don't be afraid of stepping into that discomfort a little bit, to let that story go, to move into an unknown, to listen to your intuition. That's what also this calling is kind of hearing the intuitive nudges, the call of your soul, and following that with great faith and trust in your abilities, in your understanding, and taking the lead. Channeled Message also talked about taking the lead in that effort. So trust yourself, because I feel you know the way, that there's an inner wisdom that knows better. So it's about trusting that and following that. So 2 cards to end Soul Path 2's reading, please. Thank you. Okay. So I think Spirit is kind of suggesting that you do take a little bit of a time out first before you start the new adventure, because this Ten of Swords could have been quite draining for you. There could be burnout. This could have a connection to a job or a business that just didn't work out, and it was really quite unfulfilling for you. So you've had to really process that and let it go. But understand that just because this thing didn't work out doesn't mean something else isn't going to work out. It might work out even better. So I think the first step, after you've processed and maybe done some healing work, maybe looked at these things that haven't quite fulfilled you and why, tapping into that purpose is going to be important. But I feel like taking that time out is going to be important as well, to be able to integrate the lessons, the obstacles, the things that you've gone through, the things that you want to move towards. This isn't a speed race to the finish line. I feel this is going to be a slower moving energy that is not only connected to your emotional body, but also you're being more grounded in this effort as well. And this is the grounding energy that is going to help you do that, is to slow down, to look around, to dive into the things that you find pleasurable and joyful. Maybe you haven't done that in a while, especially if this has to do with a business that you just got burnt out over, or a career or a job that you just could no longer do. If this is available to you, lie back, rest, and relax, even if it's just for half an hour a day or a couple hours a day, then do take that time. Cleansing, here's your emotional energy. Cleansing waters, purification activates vibrant life force. More relaxation energy. We have some lilies here and a dragonfly, which is indicative of transformation and change, blooming from the deep, dark waters. So you could be a water sign. And so it's not about being overcome by your emotions, but it's about working with them and understanding them a little bit more, understanding what they're trying to tell you, where they're trying to lead you. That's also part of that intuition as well. Both of these ladies have their eyes closed as they're tapping into this moment, being present, going with the flow. But being in and around water could also be quite healing for you and cleansing. Ah, look at that. Rainbow blessings. Blessings are showering your life. So coming back to that Empress energy, I feel like the blessings are there. You might just have to look for them. And also too, I feel like once you step into this new path, exploring some new things, stepping out of your comfort zone to get a little curious and to learn about your environment, to open yourself up to being new again, to being new to something, taking on a new endeavor. I really feel like this is going to lead you to the abundance that you're looking for, and that abundance that you're looking for is those blessings. So I don't feel like this is going to drop out of the sky, but I feel this is a bit of a hopeful ending for you, to say that it's here and it's waiting for you. And I feel like you intuitively know that it's waiting for you, but you just have to move beyond this Ten of Swords, to not let it hold you back, and to move forward with a lot of patience, a lot of grace, and be open to what comes. So this is what I have for you. Soul Path 2. If you'd like to dive deeper with a personal reading, the link to book 1 is in the description box. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome to your reading. I don't know why I'm speaking really slowly. That could be a message for somebody. But you chose the Dragon Blood Stone, I think, and the Ten of Swords from the Magical Creatures Tarot. So, what I get from this, I feel like the magic has died. And I don't know in what degree or to what context, etc. But I feel like whatever this situation was, I felt like it kind of drained you. There's some fatigue here. There's some hopelessness. And there's a feeling of you can't see the magic in life anymore. But I get the feeling that there are some transformations happening either because of this or on the other side of this that you may not see happening. So we are going to take a look at that ending. But before we do that, let me grab an energy card to open the reading. And let's take a peek at your energy. So there's a feeling of apathy coming through, feeling of maybe hopelessness, of not seeing anything better than where you're at now, or seeing any other experience than what you have experienced in this particular situation. So energy for Soul Path 3, please. Spirit, energy for Soul Path 3. For Soul Path 3. What is their energy currently? Usually it doesn't take that long. Okay, so this is a lovely card, Triumph, with, this is actually the Chariot card in the traditional tarot. And Memories of Love. So this could have some connection to a relationship, a past connection, could be romantic or platonic. But I feel this is the energy that you are wanting to step into. I don't know that it's your current energy quite yet. I feel like this almost is like, I don't want to say blessing in disguise, but I feel like this was a positive change, even though it may have been quite hurtful and painful, which Ten of Swords typically can be. I get a lot of nostalgia from both of these cards and a moving on from the past. So there's triumph that's coming through because something from the past has been let go of. And I don't think you see that as a triumph. So I almost am getting a bit of Hanged Man energy. And when I look at this card, you know, if we look at this from kind of halfway down, or from the perspective of the unicorn, all they can feel is that pain. All they can understand is that particular thing that has happened to them. And they are looking down. So they can't really see the transformations that is happening. And I feel like this is the victory. It's something that you can't quite see yet. So I feel like this is here. It's happening. It's on its way. And this isn't a white flag, like surrender. This is a red flag, which I feel like it's a passionate movement forward. It's also a lot of ambition and fire. There is a desire for movement. And I feel like you will see this eventually if you're not quite seeing it yet. So let's get into the tarot now and get a bit of detail on this situation for Soul Path 3 and the Ten of Swords. I also just noticed too that these are both, well, this is a unicorn, a magical horse, and this is a horse here. So horses could have a significance in your life, or they could have some additional messages for you. Horses are, I've heard they're quite magical in the sense where there's actually horse healing. So that might be something for you to look into, where you can just be around horses and they can sense your energy, your pain, your trauma, and just being around them and being still with them, they can pick up on your energy and help you to transmute that pain. So that could be a message for somebody. So let's take a look at this Ten of Swords for Soul Path 3, and we will get 3 cards. So the Devil in reverse is the first one out. The next one is the Four of Cups. Here's your apathy. And the Page of Cups in reverse. Okay, so I feel like this situation had something to do with someone or something that you weren't quite satisfied with. It's like you were investing your emotional energy in something that you were hoping would change. If I love this person enough, or if I put my whole heart behind this, or if I say yes enough, that it will be enough to change the circumstance, the situation, the person. But I don't feel that happened. So I almost wonder if you were the one who made the decision to end something, because I see a detachment of something here, and that could be something from your past that we talked about, and you could have very well moved quite quickly when the decision was made, because I feel your playfulness, the magic and the imagination that you used to have kind of got lost in this situation. So again, coming back to a little bit of that opening energy of you lost your magic. And I think you were aware of that. You saw that happen, and you were quite, I don't want to say upset about it, but you were quite saddened by the fact that you saw this unfoldment, and nothing you did, no matter how much you love something, someone, no matter how much emotional energy you invested, it just wasn't simply enough. It was like an empty well. And this also prevented you from really looking at other things that could possibly fulfill you, that you could say yes to, because you were so focused on changing or fixing or adjusting this situation or this person that you were engaged with. This person could have also been quite immature as well. I do feel like you have detached from this. I feel that it may not have been, I don't want to say it was a toxic attachment. For some it could be, but I feel overall this just wasn't an attachment that helped you and the situation live up to its fullest potential. And that can be toxic if you stay in that and you're not able to express yourself. Your creativity or your sensitivity gets suppressed in that process. And I feel that you could have been quite reactive in this situation as well. Or maybe the other person was quite reactive. So you were responding to this reactivity in maybe ways that, I don't know, didn't really feel good or didn't feel quite right. But you kind of saw the fall from grace. And so maybe you did end it because you came to the conclusion that it will always be this way, no matter how much I try or how much I share my feelings. So let's take a look at your opportunity or how to overcome this, how to move beyond it. We'll get 2 cards. Thank you. I love that they're just coming out as, or even before I've asked them to do so here. Okay, so we have the Strength card in reverse. We have the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. My first initial message from this is don't give in to people who are not willing to work with you, to collaborate with you, to find compromise, to work together to improve something, that do not have the same shared goals, that aren't willing to invest their time into seeing things through or working towards something. The Strength card in the upright is this beautiful, gentle strength, this compassion for self, and being able to tame the wilder parts of you in a very soft and gentle way. So we're not trying to force, we're being too hard on ourselves. And I think that gentility has been lost in this process, which I feel needs to be brought back in. Also, too, I feel some confidence has been shaken loose, but I feel investing in the right things is the key. It's almost like you can't find strength and confidence in the wrong situations with the wrong people. So it's about finding those environments where you can thrive. And we have butterflies here yet again. So there's again a transformation that is occurring. And I feel there's a big lesson here, something to learn here with the 3 of Pentacles and the Strength. The 3 of Pentacles is about being open to learning from others or learning from mistakes. When it's in the reverse, there can be a resistance to that. So I feel it might be time to step back into learning a new way of doing something. of finding the community or the people that are willing to work with you, collaborate in a way that makes you feel like you're being seen and heard, and to bring in compassion for the shadow parts, for the wild parts of you, for the raw parts that have maybe been uncovered in this experience, that maybe you're trying to push down or to not see. I feel like offering that side and those parts a little bit of love is quite important, because I do feel that you're a very gentle soul, very compassionate and empathic. So it's natural for you to want to help, but you have to be discerning about who and what you're helping them with, and where your own limitations are in offering that help. Is that collaborative? Or are they draining your energy, your time, your resources? Are they making you feel like you're not doing enough if they're failing? That's a pretty tough situation to be in. And that could be specific for somebody here, maybe not for all, but that's kind of the strongest message that I'm feeling here. But this is a time that I really feel to assess what environments you feel most empowered in, what people make you feel strong and confident, who support you, who are willing to compromise and to put in equal amounts of work that lift you up versus pull you down. I think this is a little bit of an opportunity to step back into your strength again, and to find those people maybe in your life around you that can be a support at this time, that can work with you to either move away from this, to move beyond it, to build something of value. So what's next for Soul Path 3? It's too many cards. What's next for Soul Path 3? We'll do 2 cards. We have the 6 of Cups in reverse. So here's the 6 of Cups, which was at the bottom of the Oracle deck at the beginning, Memories of Love. So I feel like it's definitely moving away from the past and changing the way you, I don't want to say see the world, but restore your innocence. An opportunity, too many? Opportunity to see the world with fresh eyes, bring back that childlike state of playfulness and imagination and wonder. And also understand how our past, how we were formed in childhood, those subconscious things that were imparted on us in childhood, how are those affecting our lives in the moment? Or even in the recent past, how have those informed our decisions, maybe our responses? I feel like this is really quite rooted in the past, even though it's a current situation or a recent situation that you've ended or have experienced an end with. So we have the King of Swords here. I feel like a new way of making decisions is kind of unconventional decisions. And when I say that, it's because I feel there are certain decisions that anybody makes in life, and it's almost on autopilot, like, yes, no, let's do this, let's do that. But when we stop to look at, does this feel good? Does this align with my values? Then really, maybe those decisions might be a maybe or might be a complete no. And that's also what the Four of Cups is as well, for me at least, is what are we investing our time in that are kind of half yeses or full on no's that we feel we should do or need to do or feel obliged to do, that we're not really, we're invested in it, but we're not. We're investing our emotions and maybe our time in it, but our heart isn't actually in it. We're doing it out of obligation because we feel we should, because we're worried about what other people might say or think. But really, when we step back to look at these things, they're actually full on no's. And so it's about assessing that and coming back to, what are my 100% yeses? What are those 100% yes situations when it comes to people I spend time with, or environments where I find myself, activities I participate in, clients I take on? And I feel like this is the triumph, is that it is getting you to assess that, to detach from past ways of making decisions, so that you can make new decisions from a place of strength, a place of listening to that inner child a little bit more. Inner child could be part of the healing process from this, or the moving on process from this, is listening to that inner child and maybe your intuition, your sensitivities just a little bit more, which is maybe going to put you in a spot where you're going to be making decisions from a newfound clarity, from an unconventional place. Where you once said no, you are now saying yes. Or where you once said yes, you are now saying no. There's a boundary, there's new boundaries that are being put in place, and they're going to be pretty firm. They are going to be ones that you not only consider and to observe, but they're ones that you're going to be taking action on in a very swift way. But I feel first, there's some past connections that need to be resolved. There's some past feelings that need to be resolved. And I feel there's some subconscious things that need to be looked at as well. Especially if there's any inkling of apathy, whether in your life in general or when you were in this particular situation. Were there disappointments that you ignored? Were there things that you maybe brushed aside that you should have addressed? If that doesn't resonate, then I think it's just bringing back the inner child, of offering yourself a little bit of grace and compassion, and to understand moving forward that the way you take action on your thoughts, on your decisions, may have to change a little bit, and that might take time. The Knight of Coins is on the bottom of the deck, and it is in reverse. So to me, that is experiencing a delay in getting the results that you're looking for, because there is something that needs to be, I feel like this is quite deep and quite big. I don't see a lot of major arcanas here. There are 2. Well, 3 if you're including the opening oracle card. So I don't know if this is necessarily karmic, but there definitely feels like there is a very profound insight that you will gain from this experience. But it will take time in order for you to process that and to understand it, to understand how to put that to use as well. So how do you apply this newfound knowledge? I think there might even be a little bit of a lack of clarity first before you come into fully understanding that. So taking your time and not rushing is going to be important in this process. And you might not be quite ready to do that yet, so don't force things. Coming back to that strength card, when it's in the upright, there is a lack of force. There's a gentility. There's a little bit of a flow that happens. We're just going to move with it and deal with things as they come up and be very graceful and gentle. But in the reverse, there can be a reactivity or a need to move on, move forward. When I think before you move forward, there has to be a broader understanding of what happened in this particular situation and maybe how you can move on stronger and better from it. How can you bring in that inner child again? And that's deep work. That's not something that can be done overnight, or you can make a decision and then it just happens or is fixed. It's a process. So what's interesting is I'm coming back to the opening energy card with the Chariot and the swift movement forward. And we end with the Knight of Coins, which is the underlying energy on the bottom of the deck here. So your energy is let's go, let's move on from this. I don't want to maybe deal with this. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to think about it anymore. Understood. But I feel there's some nuggets of information here that you could potentially transmute and use to your benefit that can help you offer yourself the, I want to say, nutrients that you need for your future. So that could look like implementing a little more play and wonderment in life because it has been suppressed for so long. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What blocks do you need to remove in order to make that happen? So this isn't necessarily thinking about the situation or thinking about that person and getting away from it. This is for you. This process, this moving on from, is something to benefit you. An opportunity to strengthen yourself, to build something within you that you can then use to your benefit moving forward. I hope that's making sense. So let's get a final oracle card to end your reading for Soul Path 3. Okay. And look at that. Stepping into your power. This feels very strength card to me. I'm going to pull 3 because this one that popped out earlier was calling me. Support is all around you. So I feel like connecting in with that support network, or those who I'm getting soul family or people that you can connect with that maybe understand your situation, that can resonate with your situation, that maybe share the same interests, I feel would be quite beneficial for you. And just to go back to stepping into your power, you are strong beyond measure. I feel like you're going to be leading people or helping people at some point because you have moved through this. You have moved beyond it. You have made changes within self and understood something on a deeper level that you can then pass on to others. This was in the channeled message at the beginning. So there's a level of strength and leadership within you that I don't really think you see yet. And maybe that is why the strength is in reverse, is that you don't see how strong you truly are. All right, so one more and we will end your reading. Maybe only 2 want to come out. Yeah, I think only 2 want to come out. But let's look at the bottom of the deck. Just to give you an extra bonus card without giving you an extra bonus card. Okay, so take a risk, venture forward. So there is movement forward here. It's just not in the way that you thought. I feel like you want to jump on a horse and just get the hell out of here. But really, this is about the journey, and this is, yeah, you've got your helpers here, support network. You're leading the charge of where you want to go. You are moving with the winds of change. You are maybe taking some risks and doing things a little bit differently with the King of Swords, making decisions from a new place, making different decisions than you would in your past. And this is a slower form of movement. This is also a boat in water. So again, those emotions are coming through again. And those, with the exception of the 4 of Cups, are in reverse. So there's some things that I feel will come to the surface as soon as you kind of look at the things that you're saying yes to when you really want to say no to. What are the things that you maybe feel apathetic or really bored with in life, and maybe in this situation that could be clues to helping you move forward? And what are those 100% yeses? But I do feel a grand adventure awaits. It's just going to be a little slower, especially to start, before you start venturing forward and moving on. So don't expect to hop on a horse and be on your way. I feel like you have to sit through this a little bit. And interesting, I heard sift through this a little bit. There's some sifting that needs to be done of, no, I don't need that, don't need that. Yep, let's use that, let's transmute that, let's add that to the recipe and see what we can come up with. So baking reference there, interesting, somebody might be a baker. But yeah, all in all, I feel this is, well, it may be difficult and painful at the moment, or was challenging to move through. I feel like there's some power and strength to be gained here. And there's also some new soul family members that are coming through because of it. You're realigning yourself to new people. And I feel like it's going to be quite the beautiful journey, my friends. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 3. If you'd like to dive deeper with a personal reading, the link to book 1 is in the description box. With gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.